Good morning, readers. Check that you are ready to learn this morning. You're sitting next to your partner, you have all your supplies, your eyes are forward and your mouth is quiet. Today's learning target is I am learning to understand that characters aren't always one way. Let's go ahead and fill out our reading learning intention today. So today's date is 9/28. You'll fill out the book you're reading, which should be your partner book. And then today as a reader, I am working on knowing that characters aren't always one way. In other words, characters don't always act the way you might expect them to act. Sometimes they act out of character. Let me give you an example of this from my life. I have a friend who is always very happy. She will call me and she'll talk nonstop, just very excited about everything she's saying. But one day she called and she didn't really say too much and she just sounded kind of down. So I thought to myself, she doesn't really seem like herself, because I'm used to knowing the bubbly, happy friend that always calls and talks so fast, and this one just really wasn't saying a whole lot, so I knew that something was different and something was wrong. And sure enough, she had told me that they had to get rid of her dog, and she was very upset about that. So I learned from this that although most of the time she's a very happy, bubbly person, I know that sometimes people, just the same as characters, act out of character or aren't always one way. And in this case, she was sad and down because of something that happened in her life. So I'm able to notice that in my friends, and I can also notice that in the books that I'm reading. Let's practice this now with Because of Winn-Dixie. One thing that we could definitely say is that Opal is friendly. We know that she has made friends with many people throughout where we have read so far in this book. She's made friends with Sweetie Pie, with Otis, with Gloria Dump, and with Miss Franny Black. However, I know that there are times when she is not always friendly. Let me read this passage for an example of that. "I can hear you," I hollered back at them. "I can hear what you're saying." But I couldn't. Winn-Dixie started to race way ahead of me. "You better watch out," Dunlap hollered. "That dog is headed right for the witch's house." "Winn-Dixie," I called. But he kept on going faster and hopped a gate and went into the most overgrown jungle of a yard that I had ever seen. "You better go get your dog out of there," Dunlap said. "The witch will eat that dog," Stevie said. "Shut up," I told them. I got off my bike and went up to the gate and hollered, "Winn-Dixie, you better come on out of there." But he didn't. "She's probably eating him up right now," Stevie said. He and Dunlap were standing behind me. "She eats dogs all the time." "Get lost, you bald-headed babies," I said. "Hey," said Dunlap, "that ain't a very nice way for a preacher's daughter to talk." He and Stevie backed up a little. So this is just one of the times that Opal has interacted with Stevie and Dunlap, and we notice that she really isn't very friendly to them, and they're not friendly to her. So I would say that although most of the time Opal is friendly, we know that from the text, she is not very friendly to Stevie and Dunlap. Now it's your turn to practice. Friendly is just one way that we can describe Opal, but there are many other ways that we can describe her. Try to think of one way that you could describe Opal, and think of a time when maybe she wasn't always that way. Turn with your partner and talk about that now, and then discuss as a class. So as you read today and every day, remember that characters are just like people. Characters aren't always one way. Sometimes they might act out of character, and keep your eye out for that as you read. Make it a great day.